Uh, how's it sound with the AC unit running in the back? Let me clean this lens off here a little. Right. Let me shut that off. I'm trying to straighten my garage out. It's been a mess. But I figured if I didn't go live before I got done cleaning it, I'd never get on. Let's see here. Good to see you. Shout out, old man. What's up, Rockman? Oh, man. Oh, lighting. How's everybody? Yep, I'm still ugly. Nope, got the braces off, but so it is week 9 or 10. I gotta wait till week 12 before I can start like what did it say here? Let me bring it up. So, week 9, physical. I got my physical therapy plan, but this. So we are at week 9, following distal biceps tendon repair surgery. Physical therapy focus on regaining full tension-free elbow and forearm motion. Got all that. Good. Range of motion's good. I'd go full range. Strength and exercise for shoulder and forearm begin while avoiding lifting with the operative arm. So I can do like a range of motion with the forearm. I'm not really supposed to put any weight on the bicep yet. As a matter of fact, see that gap right there? My doctor said that the tendon's good, but the reason why that gap is so large is because I put too much tension on it, and I said that was bullshit because that's how the surgery was from day one. So now he's telling me that this bicep should be lower, but I don't know. But where am I at? Goal is to achieve full tension-free elbow and forearm motion, 30 degrees of extension to 130 degrees of flexion. I'm past that. Supination and pronation, I'm past that. Stretching, gentle passive stretching, I'm past that. So I'm probably week 12 physically. No resisted elbow flexion. Avoid resisted elbow flexion until 3 months post-op, so that's another 2 weeks. Shoulder and forearm strengthening. Start incorporating exercises to strengthen the shoulder and forearm muscles. Progressive resistance. Initiate a progressive resistance exercise program for elbow flexion, extension, supination, and pronation. So I don't understand what that means though. Elbow flexion, extension. How do you initiate a progressive resistance exercise for elbow flexion and extension without using the bicep? So if any of you guys know what the hell that means. It says right here, examples. Bicep curls, resistant pronation, supination, weighted wrist curls. So it's saying I'm confused. My doctor said no, not to do resistance training, but the paperwork the VA gave me says to do resistance training. Shoulder strengthening. Included exercises to strengthen shoulder muscles such as shoulder external rotation and scapular exercises, which would be like, but he doesn't say whether to use weighted or not. Other important considerations. No lifting. Avoid any lifting with the surgical arm for at least 6 weeks post-op. Swelling. Manage swelling and soft tissue healing. Not a problem. Pain. Not a problem. Supervision. Continue to work with a physical therapist for guidance and supervision. Well, these guys, I'm fucking confused now. All I know, so I had I said, when can I start hitting the heavy bag? And they said 6 months. Well, that's not what they said. You know, they said I could start training Muay Thai, but I have to avoid, uh, I can't hit hard, especially with like uppercuts or, but I can hit, I don't know. It says as tolerated. All right, back to you, gentlemen. Even at the end of recovery, you look 10 times more jacked than me, man. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Danny Off Grid. What's up, Danny? Oh, you got a new channel. I'll check it out. I kind of went dark the last couple of weeks. Let's see. Any Epson Yarl. What would you recommend for a bench program, like weekly program, and how much should I load per week for progressive overload? Well, any Epson, that would really depend on what you're training, how often you're training, and how heavy you're going. Like, I would need to know, I'd have to have context. I need to know what your program is currently. Yeah, Rob, well, you say impressive recovery, but it's not really. I've been fucking off I haven't done any resistance training for like 3 weeks, 4. I've been doing a lot. I've been kicking the heavy bag a lot. I've been doing a lot of stretching, a lot of body weight exercises, but I've been bitching out on doing compound lifts. So today, since I haven't trained in a month, I'm going to treat it just like I'm coming back from any other, any other time off. I'm gonna start with a conditioning block. Why'd your eyes light up like that? LOL, Traveler Mac. Oh yeah, I am drinking a shit ton of coffee. Dude, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm dead tired. All I want to do is sleep. So why did my eyes like that? Like I've lost motivation and discipline. I just went out the window. The last 4 times I set up live streams, I canceled them. I've just lost it, man. The difference between this injury and every other one that I've had is that when I blew my shoulder out, when I fucked my back up, I never stopped training. I just had to lower the weight to almost nothing. Well, the back one that one I had to start from scratch. But I am correct. So even though I couldn't do anything, there was nothing that I couldn't do if I could do it. Does that make sense? Like when I was doing when my back went out, I had to start with body weight exercises, but there was no motion that I wasn't allowed to do. When my shoulder went out, I just dropped the weight down to almost nothing and started with the barbell. But this is the first time I've ever gotten hurt to where I'm not allowed to use something. Like I can't use the arm. So I've been lost. I don't know what to do. And then I've also been super scared because every time I go to do something in my arm, ever since my doctor told me about the tendon being stretched, I've been like deathly afraid to do anything with it. And he kind of fucked me over in the head. So I figured, I'm just gonna jump back in, Awesome, only 400 subs to 8K. Oh, I must have lost some subscribers, well, which doesn't surprise me. Hold on here, let me check my. I appreciate that, Danny, but honestly, I decided I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff. I just want to get right in the head and get back on some kind of a schedule, like a regular schedule where I'm doing it regularly instead of once a week. Let's see, view my channel. No, 7.96. Yeah, I lost some subscribers. Where the hell is, let's see here. Go to dashboard here. No, I guess, looks like I lost 6 subscribers. in the last 28 days. Or I'm down -6. I haven't made any shorts. In the last video I did, I was drumming, and I practiced like all day, and then as soon as the camera came on, my limbs stopped working, and I couldn't do any of the stuff I practiced all day. Drumming's coming along really good, man. Like I'm not gonna hold you hostage and like force you to listen to my shitty drumming, but I'm telling you right now, I've been exponentially increasing ever since my daughter taught me how to read sheet music. My daughter's 10 years old, and she plays the drums just like Dad does. So she decided to become a percussionist in her school. Well, I've always been just a rock and roll play along guy, in a garage band, just banging on the pie tins. She comes home, and I start flipping through her book, and I'm like, well, what are these? Rudiments. My daughter, 10 years old, she's like teaching me how to do paradiddles and the triples and stuff like that. And I just started doing all that stuff, and I realized I didn't know how to play the drums. So I've been practicing all of the basic rudiments, and now I can read sheet music, and her and I are actually practicing together. And ever since I started practicing rudiments, which is basic year 101 drum stuff, because I have been playing for the last 20 years, I just bang along with music. Now I kind of understand what I hear when I listen to songs, and it makes a lot more sense. And I've just been like every week, it's like powerlifting with unlimited gains. You're just motivated to keep going because every single day you learn something new. And I don't know how to describe it. I wish my lifting went like my drumming did. Matthew, what's up, brother? Christina, she has to listen to me drum, so she might disagree. Matthew, you haven't caught a stream in a long time because I haven't done one in a long time. I went dark on the internet. I kind of went through a little bit of self-pity and depression. And the last 3 live streams, like, I've canceled them. At the last minute, I just couldn't do it. And it's not because I still have been training off camera. I just wasn't my normal witty, I don't think I would have handled trolls very well. Like, normally we have fun and we banter. We make fun of each other, and I just didn't have it. So, but I don't think I'm in a weird place. Like, everything's good and everything's bad. Does that make sense? I've been a drummer for about 20 years, and I learn things all the time. Ricky. Yeah, so you've heard the it's not cognitive dissonance. What is it? Dunning-Kruger. Dunning-Kruger is when you see this in powerlifting all the time. Like, and it happened to me. When I first started powerlifting, I trained at a small gym in Henderson called Express Fitness, and it had a small group of powerlifters that had one multi-rack, a deadlift bar. And I quickly became one of the strongest guys in that gym. I was deadlifting 500 pounds. And I thought, man, I thought I was the shit. And, that's the first curve of the Dunning-Kruger. That's when you start thinking you're the best. And then I went to Iron Addicts, where I was the smallest guy in the gym. And guys were doing what I was maxing out with for sets of 10. Now all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I don't know anything. And then you get to the bottom again, or you bottom out on that curve where you're a beginner again. And then from there, you just never stop learning. You never become an expert. That's the Dunning-Kruger. And you see a lot of people when they start out with something, and they learn at a quick rate, and they think that they become proficient, only to find out that they haven't even touched, the knowledge base. And that's how it is with drums. I've been playing drums for 20 years, and I just thought I was a bad drummer. And what I realized is I didn't know the fundamentals. And now that I got to the top of my little Dunning-Kruger curve, and now I'm back at the bottom where I'm a beginner again. But it's exciting because now I understand that drumming is not just playing along with music. You're actually expressing yourself through rudiments, and rudiments are the language, the mathematical language, how drums sing. And it's so exciting because it's like I understand it now, but now it's teaching my body to actually do it. And I don't think I'll ever be an expert at drums, and that's okay because every day I get a little bit better. And I wish everything in life was like that. Because I think I'm a moron for the most part when it comes to most things. Have you ever trained at Westside Barbell in Ohio? No. No, but I saw there were some guys from Westside that came out to Vegas. So I've trained with some of those guys. I'm trying to think of... what's his name? What is his name? He passed away about a year ago. Used to train with Dave Tate. He's my favorite bodybuilder of all time, and I can't remember his name. You guys think of his name? Let me know. Not Louis. I know Louis passed away. What's up, Cyrus? Cyrus says he would knock me out easy. Cyrus, you need a hug, buddy? Just do you just like go on people's pages and threaten them with violence? That seems kind of weird, dude. How old are you? Let's go to Cyrus's channel. Cyrus O'Neill does the ray gun. Cyrus... Oh, Casey O'Neill. So Cyrus doesn't have a picture. I would think if you're going around saying you knock people out, chances are you've probably never fought before. But hey, welcome. You're welcome to hang around. Let me see. What was that guy's name though? He passed away about a year ago. Cannot think of his name. He's the guy I got the dynamic squats from. What's up, Faisal? Malachi Flynn. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know because I struggle with social skills. You know, Malachi, a lot of us do. So, we got our buddy Cyrus up there. He obviously is probably never felt what a vagina is like, but no, you're in the right place. We all have something wrong with us here. So, I'm actually going to do some weight training today. I took a month off, so I think I'll start light and just see how the body responds. What's up, Semper Fi, Steven? I stopped talking for 2 years straight as a small child after getting the MMR vaccine. Steven asks, how am I feeling? Not too bad. I don't know, man. I just can't get excited for this shit. For the last Bob, help me out here. When did I go to the Worlds? Ever since I turned 48, from 48 to 50, I did 2 major competitions a year, and I never took time off. So I've been training like a monster and then I got this injury. But I normally being 50 years old, I would do one meet at the beginning of the year, take a month or 2 off, and then train for the meet at the end of the year. And I've just been pushing through just like a madman, and I finally got injured, and now that I've been forced to take time off, I can't start the engine again. Crank some AC/DC. You know what gets me going for lifting? It would be System of a Down. Or let's see, who else? Well, there's Tool, but Tool. What's up, doggy? My dog's sticking his head through the cat door. Wanna come out? Make this sucker get. Shut it down. Alright, flip fella. Come on in. Come on. 2 years old. Vlad, what's up? Let's see. We both want to dedicate this award to the people that do not put pineapple on pelmeni, and the people that don't smash hollow. Let's see. I'm just gonna agree with you, Vlad. Oh yeah, Prince is a good dog. He gets really excited though. Once you get him going, he doesn't stop. Alright. Here's something I haven't worn in over a month. So, I've dropped 30 pounds. Purposefully, I don't have cancer or anything. Remember how to wear this shit? Oh, it's summertime, I forgot. These are so hard to put on in the summer because they get stuck. Damn it. A little bit of sweat. My swamp cooler went out. I had a big swamp cooler. And I could keep the garage about 80, 85 degrees. So now it's like, what is the temperature right now? Let's see, what is it? It's 81 degrees in the garage. That's not too bad. You know what? Let me open the garage door a little bit if I get some air to it. Matthew Miller, are you going to compete? Am I going to compete again? Yeah, if everything goes good with the arm. If I can start training, you see, March, May, June, July, September. If everything goes good with the arm and I can start deadlifting by late June, early August, I will compete in September. Otherwise, I'm going to wait till next year, and because then I mean, there's really nothing to be gained by competing in September unless I can beat the records I already have. But if I can't, then I will wait till I'll wait till the beginning of next year to compete. But if it goes well, if once I can start training, because I don't really need biceps. I don't need biceps for they play a decent part in benching. Yeah, I don't really need biceps. Let's see here. Hey, where did Cyrus leave? I was hoping that moron would come up with something clever. That's disappointing. Oh, we got Vamp Suck Semper Fi. What's up, brother? And the Walk asked me how long I've been lifting. About 10 years. But I'm coming off an injury, so. You know, everybody said, well, if you stop taking steroids, you know, your muscles are going to go away. You know, it's been what, since March 20th? March, April, May, and I still have my muscles. Nanny boo boo. My dog Willie is an urn on my nightstand. Yeah, we've got a couple of dogs. I don't know how to pronounce that, but what's up, brother? All right. This is something I haven't done in a minute. I wonder if I should try the straight bar. I bought a Smith machine. The thought with the Smith machine is I could push so I could work my chest and then lower it with one arm. Back from injury, Aisha. Ashad, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm trying. I was gonna bitch out of this one too. Oh man, granny knock these. Son of a. Bye, this American pie. All right, here we go. Anybody looking for lifting shoes? I really think that for the money, these Adidas, the Audi Pros are, Audi Powers. They're about half the price of the Nikes. And I think for the money, they're the best ones you can buy. Because you can pick these up for probably like $60. And I've had these for going on 10 years now. Are they that old? Yeah. No. They're at least 5 years old. What's up? Blizzard, what's up, my man? Oh, I've been working on trying to do one-arm pull-ups. See if I can get this working. Oh, shit. Nope, not yet. Maybe after a warm-up, we'll try it. I moved my garage. Fucking disaster here. of them is going to kill me. He needs to clean up. Get your ass over here, Samuel. But yeah, I'll give you $50. Yeah, I tore my garage completely apart. I don't know if you can see like on the camera here. I moved the drum set out. It's like a Smith machine in the back. So like this whole, for a while there, my rack was buried. And then that was another excuse not to lift, because I just come out here and be like, I'll clean it later. All right, let's do this. I got this. Resistance bands. Ooh. Ooh. I'll tell you what, my flexibility's gotten a lot better. I've been doing all that Muay Thai training. Oof. Oh, did you hear that pop? All right. Ooh. What's up, Bob? Dude, I don't want to do this shit. No. I keep having this argument in my head. You know what? I wonder if I should start with just the barbell. See how the arm is. All right. There was nothing. This is the part that scares me. Just in case. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to warm this thing in a minute. Am I nervous? Yeah. Man. I don't want to take any chances of popping this thing. I'll give you a sniff of this. What did I do with that? Give me a second. I gotta run and grab something. Well, shoot, man. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, not there. You know what? I lost it. I don't think I need it. I'll be alright. I got this little sock thing that keeps this thing from cutting into your arms. And I don't know what I did with it. Alright. Any tip for exercises for the neck? Yeah. Am I related to Preparation H? Actually, I think I might be older than Triple H. How old is he? Yeah. Nothing but the ceiling. Oh, hey, Ego Lift, my spirit animal. Alright, let's do this. Enough stalling. Whoa. Holy shit. I'm a little rusty. Look. I forgot about this. It's weird with this thing. Thank you, Abraham. I've lost 30 pounds, so purposefully, I lost it on purpose. Rick Shaw, do you watch pornography? It's an oddly personal question. No. I think pornography is, well, there's a mountain of emerging evidence to suggest that it causes a whole bunch of issues to your brain. It's bad. Sorry, I thought this was a channel for men to discuss men's issues. Well, no, Rick, it is actually. If you're being serious, yeah, it's absolutely a channel for that. But you have to understand, I get a lot of trolls too. And so you know you're good, Rick. If you're being 100%, if you're serious, we'll talk about it. I actually used to have what I consider to be a pornography addiction. Now, I would be a liar if I said that I never watched it, ever, but I try not to. Men are weird, we'll abstain and then some little YouTube thing will flash or an ad on the computer and you'll be like, oh, let's click that, Okay, I've done that before. Don't do that, that's bad. But generally as a rule, I think that pornography is worse than drugs. And if you're a married man, it can cause a lot of problems, even if your wife's okay with it. It can cause sexual dysfunction. It's just for young men, I think it ruins their ability to form, meaningful relationships, and it gives a lot of young men a really, really, really bad picture of what sex is like in real life. The weight loss isn't noticeable. I think it is. My wife even said I was looking a little sucked in the face, like a tweaker or something. I'm like, damn, I'm 200 pounds still. Hoorah! What's up, the Beef Junior? Hell yeah, man. Stick around, brother. Marriage is hard. Yes, well, because, I don't know. It's like pornography, like, I was actually reading the literature, the scientific, the peer-reviewed studies that recently came out, 2023, 2022. They've actually they aggregated some pretty good research over the last 10 years, and they started publishing studies. So this is the first studies that actually showed what it does to the brain long term. They had a really large sample size of men, and what they found was it hijacks the dopamine system directly, and it's almost as addictive as heroin. Obviously it doesn't cause withdrawals, but if with young men and the way that what we've done to young men with online dating, and we pretty much ruined young men in this country. A lot of them have turned to basically writing off women completely. They're just not worth it. They haven't learned to talk to them. They don't know how to handle rejection. They're not strong. They're not assertive. And nobody taught them to be. It's not their fault. So it's easy to turn to things like pornography. And what will happen is over time you become desensitized to it. So they find themselves seeking more intense, weirder stuff over time. And you get a lot of young straight men who would never in their life, like, they're watching like donkey porn and tranny stuff and like really sadomasochist shit over a period of like a couple of years, and they can't get off unless they have that extreme, and it's instant gratification. So back in the day when we were growing up on the internet, I don't know if you remember, like 56K modems, you'd be printing out and it'd start showing like line by line, and you're like, ooh, I almost got a nipple. 2 hours later, you've almost got a naked lady on your screen. Well, now, what else we have to do? We had to fast forward the VHS tapes. But even then, porn was like it was almost like a movie. You had to watch it was a really shitty movie with bad acting. And you can argue that a lot of that is better than the crap they're putting out today. But you know what I mean? Like, you now you can just go right to the whatever part you like. And they basically, it's like TikTok, how you're spamming the brain, and it's like instant gratification. Well, it's the same way with pornography. So it desensitizes them, and it can cause sexual dysfunction because what did the studies say? They need to have that stimulus in order to climax. And they don't get that stimulus from women in the real world, so it's almost like the other part was because they never learned how to talk to women. There's a whole bunch of bad stuff. I would say pornography and online dating has ruined a lot of prospects for young men to form meaningful relationships, and I think it's the responsibility of guys like us who have been through the ringer to help guide them. So it's something I take pretty seriously. My son's 13, a 10-year-old daughter. I'm training a 15-year-old gentleman who lives in Connecticut. he's just started dating, and he was talking to me. He was expressing to me some of the stuff he has to deal with, and if I was a kid growing up now, I don't know what I would do. You know, the way online dating works is they unintentionally made it so that a small percentage of men could have their pick of any woman they want, and they basically do. It's like a Pareto distribution. Like 10% of the men get 90% of the women, and it's ruined women because all those women think that a high value man has to be over 6 feet tall, make at least $300,000 a year, and drive a Bugatti. Like, that's just normal, right? They have no idea that, like, the average income in America is like between $30,000 and $50,000 a year. You know, and so, Todd, more to your point where you said, "Preach, we failed this generation of young men. We got to turn it around." A lot of the other things I see is my generation and the millennials. They'll often make fun of these men and call them weak, beta males, weak-willed. They'll make fun of them, you know, and I think that that's irresponsible too, because they didn't have the guidance, you know, they didn't have. I mean, even like my dad never helped me. I was screwed. I had to learn everything the hard way, but we still had, you know, still had to talk to women. You know, they were there. You know, you go up to them and talk to them. That's what you did. Nowadays, I don't even know. I mean, I'd be almost mortified if I saw a pretty girl at, like, say, a Starbucks, and I just walked up to her and asked her if she wanted, you know, I like the way you look. You know, I would say something nice and ask her out for her phone number. Might get you arrested nowadays. You know, it's like, you hold the door for somebody. And, I've heard people say, like, I don't need you to hold the door for me. Like, it's just our social interactions have declined significantly, and it just or even more common. My wife and I noticed that when we go to the stores, people don't use their words when they're trying to get by you in the aisles. I was standing with the freezer door open at Albertsons, and I was looking at the cheese, and this young lady comes, and her head comes under my arm and grabs something off of the rack, and I look at her and I'm like, "Hey, you got to buy me dinner before you do that." And she looked at me and I said, "You know, you can use your words. I'll move." And she goes, "Well, you were taking too long." Like, so not only did she think she was entitled to my space, but she couldn't even be bothered to say, "Excuse me." I mean, if she would have said, "Hey, fucker, get out of my way," that would at least be acknowledging that I exist on this planet. You know what I mean? So people don't use their words. They push past you. And they're confrontational if you call them out on it. Like, they will literally, like, argue being rude. Like, somehow they are justified in that behavior. It's just bizarre to me. We got the Beef Junior, $9.99. Brother, from the services to the addiction of porn, it's like watching a future version of myself. You talk straight to my soul. Before I leave, love the Goku tank top. Hell yeah, man. Are you active duty, the Beef, before you take off? Ego says, "I'm glad I grew up long before social media." Hell yeah, man. You know, we got knee deep in social media, but we knew what life was like before it. But my kids don't have a clue. It's an awesome donation message. I really appreciate it, but I don't. Ryan says, "Dude, you look huge. I'm going to the gym recently to get bigger. Any tips?" Consistency. That's the number one thing I'm preaching, is consistency. If you're just starting to train, pretty much any program you do is going to work. You're going to get gains from it. I always tell guys, if they're starting out, do yourself two favors. Don't miss more than 3 days in a row. That should be your rule for 6 months, a year if you can do it. And progressive overload. Something has to increase. So, like, you know, these guys that start training in the gym and they'll get comfortable with a certain weight, and that's what they'll work out with. That needs to increase. Something has to increase to force your body to adapt to change. So either the weight or the reps, usually both in tandem. Rick says, "I think pornography has become a quite epidemic among teenage boys, and it's messing them up." Here's the sad thing, Rick. We started it, you know, online, the internet, It started there. I mean, before there was pornography. There was like your nudie mags. You used to go to the corner store and they'd have the little black plastic with like the top of the magazine where it said Hustler. Or you could go to the, oh man, what was it? Not where do you rent movies at? What's it called? Not Blockbuster, but like the other ones. And they would have that little room in the back, with the little beads, and you can walk in there. It's like the little shame room where, you kind of sneak in, and everybody's looking. You think everybody's staring at you, and there's that other creepy dude that's in the corner, and he's looking. They got the little room with the corner, and I don't think that was bad, or it wasn't doing the damage that the internet's doing today. And I don't think it was intentional, but it progressed to the point where now it's on demand. I mean, you can literally get it for free, and you can get it on demand, and you can watch as much of it as you want. So if it's following any other formula of addiction, if you've got something that has that ease of access and it does that much damage potentially, it's absolutely devastating to what it can do. And they've shown like some of the people that follow the addiction model to where they express the same traits as an alcoholic or a heroin addict as far as use, and the amount of damage it does to the brain is on par with people that are like, what was the drugs they were comparing it to? Was it crack? It was something really bad. It wasn't good. You love the shaft. It depends. Salute to my Gen X broski. What's up, do some diff? I just can't find any girls. No one wants to go out. People need to go out to the real world other than bars. Ricky, yes. I have never in my entire life, ever. No, okay. What was that? Okay, 2 times in my life that I can remember, I went home with a lady at a bar that I didn't go there with. I'm 50 years old, so think about that. Every girl I've met has either been like, just doing weird shit, like a farmer's market, or a grocery store, or the dog park, or something where you look like meth and wrestling. Thanks, Louie. I wonder what you look like. Fearless says, "Are you natty?" No, but right now I am. I've been natural since March 20th. And I have no intention of staying that way. That man is crazy. Louis, you don't have to. I'm right here, dude. I gotta be honest. I don't mind when people comment on my looks, but 9 times out of 10, they're usually people that shouldn't be talking. I'm willing to bet you look like a garbage bag full of raccoons fighting over, Oh man, I need glasses. Vinoth. Vinoth, is that how you pronounce it? Shit, bro, what happened to the arm? I had bicep distal surgery, and I don't need to wear this brace. I'm just wearing it because I'm doing squats. And what I fear is if the bar slips off my back and I catch it with this arm, it could damage the bicep. So I'm just wearing this as a precaution. This is the first time I've trained in a month. Oh, I've done some Muay Thai training, but no weight, serious weight. Now, before I had surgery, I had the highest squat recorded for my age and weight. On competition, I had 620, and in the garage, I was hitting 660, 670. So we'll see how strong my legs still are. Raccoons are awesome, hell yeah. So HF202 2024 says, incredible, no one can stop you. My wife says I'm like a cockroach. Like she said, I refuse to die. If there's a nuclear war, I'm going to crawl out of a pile of garbage and I'll be glowing green, like something out of the Fallout series. Do you worry your body needs to rest more? Your age is more important to focus on quality over quantity. Well, let's talk about it, HF2024. Like, how much rest do you think I need? I've taken a month off. Like, I don't know. I've been a competitive powerlifter for the last 10 years. Distal surgery, Anthony. Dylan, what's up? I'm trying to find a man to date who isn't a liberal pussy. That's tough, man. I don't know what it is about the gentlemen in your demographics, but they all tend to be illogically liberal. I don't understand that. I don't understand why, if you're not into women, that automatically makes you a liberal. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Ricky, is lifting light for high reps better than low rep high? Well, context matters, Ricky. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Just wondering if you're getting into it too quickly post-injury. Well, I started training immediately after surgery. I did any exercise I could still do, but I got burned out because I was doing squats every other day, and there wasn't much I could do with my upper body. So then I started doing Muay Thai, but I could only kick the bag, and that started getting old. I got burned out because my workouts were not interesting. So I took a month off, and now I'm just like, I'm 9 weeks, 10 weeks out of surgery. Like, what am I doing, And this is to all the assholes that said that if I stopped PED use, I would melt and disappear. And yeah, I was a lot bigger at 230 pounds, but I'm 200, and as far as I can tell, everything's still there. But, I was also a natural lifter to the age of 45, and I had a pretty good physique, so if you have a good natural base, you're not going to lose a ton of muscle if you stop training. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but it's my heart ached when I saw your injury. I hope you recovered quickly from South Korea. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But, I've had a couple of injuries in the last 4 years that should have been career-ending. And I was able to train through those and get stronger on the other side of it. This one's a little bit different, though, because this is the first time I've had an injury where I absolutely could not use, like when I blew my shoulder out at the partial tear, I could still rehab. I could lift light weight, so I didn't have to stop lifting. When I fucked my back up, I had to start from scratch, but there wasn't any movement that I was not allowed to do. Some of them I could do, but I wasn't barred from doing anything. This has been interesting because, you can't do overhead presses because you need your bicep to do the down part. What's the technical name for that? Wow. But the eccentric. You need the bicep to do the eccentric for the bench. You need the bicep to do the eccentric for dips. Like, there was literally no exercise I could do. I could do lightweight shoulder flies, and now that's I don't know, man. Would you ever do a marathon or Ironman? No, I don't. So, because I train Muay Thai, I should be doing way more cardio than I do, and I actually do a lot of cardio, I like to use the parallel bars for burpee type movements, full body stuff like that. But I don't enjoy running. I actually hate running. I like to do sprinting. That's different, though. Been eating a lot of eggs, red meat, and chicken. Should I be using whey protein? Oh, whey is just a look. It's, protein to me is food. It's like I don't. I can't say whether whey is better than the protein that you get from eggs and meat. I'm trying to think here. I was reading some studies. But what I can say for absolute certainty is that protein powders are completely unnecessary. I've had one in the, when I signed up for EOS Fitness, they gave me a tub of protein powder, and it's been in my closet for like 2 years. And sometimes I'll break it out when I'm in a hurry, you know what I mean? Anthony, I'm 57 and I do boxing and cane defense. Nice. Nice. How active are you? How active are you with boxing, Anthony? Hired and copy. Do you work at an actual gym or no? So I was training with Paul Mayorkine, who was one of Freddie Roach's guys. He trained. He was on Manny Pacquiao's team. Cesar Chavez. Who's the other Mexican boxer? He's a Mexican boxer. So I trained with him in 2024, late 2023, 2024 for about a year. And my kids were training with us. And I thought he was a fucking dick. My daughter's really, really talented, and he wanted her to become a sanctioned boxer. And he was trying to convince me to fight in a like a masters league, like an older guys league. So I agreed to do it. But all he was doing with me was using me to tune up his younger guys because I'm not a great boxer, especially not compared to like the guys that are trying to go pro. So I was basically just a fucking punching bag. I wasn't learning anything. I was learning defense. After about a year of that shit, and my kids would always leave his gym crying because he was really hard on them. But they got really good. He's a good coach. But I would only train with him if you're like a serious boxer who's like intending to, become like a good amateur or pro boxer. So then we found this Muay Thai gym called One Kicks right around the corner. And it's run by Nick Blomgren. He's an F1 champion. Give me a second. I'm gonna blow my nose. I said F1. He's a K1 champ. And he's got a couple of UFC guys that train at his gym. And I used to do kickboxing a long time ago. So I had about 10 years of kickboxing, but it's been like 20 years. I started training Muay Thai, and the kids love it. It's awesome. So the whole family trains there. Since I've dropped 30 pounds, I've gotten a lot of my athleticism back. And when I was training heavy for powerlifting, I could not leave my feet when I was kicking the bag. And now I've been able to, like, I can do full windmill kicks, and I'm starting to be able to do some pretty cool stuff now that I've dropped the weight. And we spar twice a week. Now, since I've had surgery, I haven't done any hard sparring. But, twice a week we were, putting the pads on and going at it. I like that gym. It's a lot of fun. They train serious. You can train as hard as you want to. If you want to become a professional fighter, he will train you. If you're just a weekend warrior and you want to come in and just learn how to kick a bag, that's fine too. They got classes for that. If you're an intermediate and you're serious about training, but you have no intentions of being a professional fighter, there's a lot of guys there that do that. And there's guys from Muay Thai or from Thailand that come over. The coaches are great. It's as hard and as serious as you want it to be, and it's as easy and relaxing as you want it to be. So it's like they got room for everybody. If you've never thrown a punch in your entire life and you walk in through the door, they have someone they can match you up with and get you started, and they have really, really good coaches. Let's see, Ricky, I just got I prefer protein from meats, eggs, and Greek yogurt. I'm going too fast here. After I do my squats, I'll brace up the ankles and I'll start throwing some kicks. I got the heavy bags. Yeah. You guys want to see a 50-year-old dude flop around in the garage for a minute? I figure since I haven't trained in over a month, I don't need to do a super high amount of volume. Alright, so where were we? Nighthawk gameplay. Pretty good protein from meat eggs and Greek yogurt. Yeah, Greek yogurt's awesome. Ricky, I just got a weight bench for my friend who didn't need any more, and the weight bench is adjustable, but he does not have a good spot for the bar or leg extension. Dude, I move shit around my garage all the time. I got my leg extension over here, and I have to move that to hit the bags. I got a Smith machine over here, which you can't see on the camera. I got a drum set in the middle. It's just like the garage is a little bit of everything. I set the camera up and clear a lane out, so this space of video is like nice and clear. Boxing is so dead now. I miss the Floyd and Manny era. Picking MMA. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. You got the Tyson Fury. I like him and a lot. The guy cheating, said he weighted his gloves or something. That guy to me, he didn't even look like he knew how to. When he was fighting, he would throw these really, really powerful haymakers. But it was like, you just didn't feel like you were watching, like back in the day, the big men had skill. Like Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson, master of the peak of the world. You could just you could see there was a display of honed precision over years of training. And the American boxers now look like they just, found them in the backyard, slugfest. And it's just watching it, I don't know. And then MMA pisses me off because they've leaned too hard into the shit talking. When I was a Marine, we used to do Smokers League. And we would literally, we would glove up, beat the fucking shit out of each other. We would try to kill each other in the ring. And then afterwards, we're laughing and buying beers for each other. And if you got your ass kicked, you're getting made fun of, and you're like, next week I'm going to fuck you up. But there was never, this need to, talk shit before a fight. I never understood that. It's like, you two men are participating in a sport. I never had any animosity for anyone I ever fought, and I didn't feel like I needed to have it to get serious either. So I don't understand where these infantile egomaniacs, grown men, and I know it's part of that's the problem. It's like they've turned the UFC into the WWE. It's all this bullshit, shit talking, and mic drop nonsense. It's so fucking annoying. I don't know. For me, it takes who's that dumbass that the YouTuber, him and his brother. They got god damn it, I can't. Jake Paul and his brother. But they have their fights, and they're kind of entertaining, but they do this huge drama leading up to the fight where it's weeks and weeks of the most hateful and venomous rhetoric. And if somebody did that to my wife, I wouldn't be waiting to get in the ring with them, that's for sure. So to me it's all just, I don't know. I think it sends a bad message to younger men who think that that's how grown men act. I pride myself on my conflict resolution skills. People are, they get on the comments and they'll talk shit saying I can kick your ass and all that, and I'm like, okay, I'm a 50-year-old man, I don't just fight people. That's stupid. One of you's probably going to jail, if not both of you. It's just, women don't solve their problems like that. It's just so bizarre. Canelo Alvarez is awesome. I love Canelo. Got about a year in boxing. Cane defense, I have several years. I would want to see your cane defense, Anthony. I used to take kendo, and I spent years training with a staff. I'm pretty good with one. I did taekwondo. So this is my martial arts resume. Early years taekwondo, uh, little smokers league boxing in the Marines, where I didn't really learn that. I mean, I learned basics, how to throw a punch, but I never really had good footwork. But I did that for a couple of years. I did kickboxing from 2002 to about 5 years. 5 years of kickboxing. Then I took 2007 to 2022. 17. I had 17 years off in between, and then I decided I just got a wild hair up my ass, and I said, you know what, I'm going to learn how to fight again. And here I am now, and I've been training for about 2 years. But like I said, I mean, like, even though I've been training for 2 years, I have all that past experience, which actually didn't help me much because I had to unlearn all that shit. Let's see, what is picking? Let's see. I prefer to get protein, you just wait. You're answering a question. Pick 'em, I would recommend getting about 60 more grams if possible. If not, then go for the powder. I definitely agree on eating a nice steak, but what are we talking about? 100 grams of protein from just... So, I don't think... So the conventional wisdom said... What was it, a gram of protein? Well... So I weigh 200 now. Conventional wisdom, like before, I would say the year, when did that study come out? 2020. Before then, they were recommending 3 grams of protein for every pound of body weight, which is just ridiculously high, especially if you're over the age of 40, because any protein that your body doesn't use either gets digested and turned into energy, or it gets pissed out through your kidneys, and protein in your kidneys, if it's too much, can plug them up and cause damage over time. So as we age, our kidneys naturally deteriorate. Slamming them with that much protein over time can cause some real issues. The study came out in 2020. She was UNLV biology. She did a paper on the ATP. She did a study on creatine. So 2020, they came out with a really good study that supported that you only needed 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and over the age of 40, you can even do less. You could do like 0.8. So I don't think I would even need 100 grams of protein, and I rarely eat that much. I think that if you're trying to bulk and you're trying to get bigger, you might want to push a gram of protein. And that's not saying that if you did eat a gram of protein per pound of body weight, I don't think that would be unhealthy and that wouldn't be too hard on your kidneys. But it is not necessary if you're trying to cut back on what you're eating. Fit Flame Mode, where have you been? I've been hiding, brother. Let's see. Medellin, Colombia, nice. Just gotta wait, man. Let's see. Let's see. Green is my favorite. What's your favorite tasting crayon? I've switched over to. I've evolved from crayons. I prefer these now. It's a higher class. Let's see, Matthew Miller. It's only gay if your dick's touched. All right. For his age, he's ripped. I walk around at 11% body fat. What do you mean for my age? Thanks, Georgie. What's up, brother? I haven't seen you I haven't been online in a while. Why does everyone ask how much I can bench? I don't know, Ricky. It's one of those ubiquitous questions that men must answer if they lift weights. Honestly, if I wasn't a power lifter, I wouldn't even bench press. I would do weighted dips. Strike me as a guy who's done battle with hemorrhoids before. Matthew Miller. I don't have a good comeback for that. Hemorrhoids. I guess my question would be like, why would you say that? Like, what about me makes you think I've had to struggle with hemorrhoids? I need some context so I can come up with a comeback. My anti-hemorrhoidal mic drop needs some work. I don't have that in my repertoire. Shit was sliding on my back earlier. Bye, bye, December. So good. You know what's nice about full range of motion is it's a really good stretch. You can almost just go right into that popping sound. Everything's still functioning. Deadlifting is a better strength building. Better than what? Well, for bench, better than bench? You guys crazy. Yes, we are. Let's see. If I was going to rate the compound movements from order of best to meh, number one is squats, 100%. Number two is deadlift. Number three would be dead rows. Number four would be overhead press. 5 would be bench. 6 is barbell rows. 7 would throw the Zercher movements in there. What am I missing? Pretty much all of them, huh? Maybe we could throw up like pull-ups and dips in there. Upright rows. Well, so a dead row. Dead row is my go-to for deadlifting. Some would argue that, well, really all that is when you do the deadlift, you pull up to your knees and then you row it. So it's 2 parts. And I would go pretty heavy on those because you get a little English from the pull off the floor. And a lot of guys would say, well, that's cheating. Well, yeah, it is. But what it does is it increases your speed off the floor and it gets rid of all your sticking points for the deadlift. And then, of course, the theory being that if you can dead row 500 pounds, you can deadlift 500 pounds really easily. So it was a good accessory for deadlifting because I saw an exponential increase. But the best exercise that I've done for powerlifting, hands down, was stiff leg deficit pulls. You'd stand on a platform 4 inches, and you basically do like a Romanian deadlift, stiff-legged, pull with your posterior chain. You lower it and just kiss the ground and do a set to failure. And that not only is it safer than doing regular deadlifts, but it helped my deadlift and my squat and my back. It was just a great lift. The reason why you do it at a deficit is because you can stretch your lats at the end of it, and then get a little bit of upper back work out of it too. So it was just one of the great lift. The guy who turned me on to those was Prophet Fear. So if you check his page out, I believe he calls them profit pulls. Excellent exercise. Everybody gives him a ration of shit about it too. Like all the ego lifters and that small lifting community of people that harass each other. I heard them non-stop making fun of him for that lift, and I'm going to tell you right now, that lift. I mean, at age 50, I got 670 pounds in competition, and I was going to pull 700 at this meet that that I blew my bicep. But as far as strength, I was knocking it out of the park. So I mean, you only do squats and Romanian deadlift because they want thick legs. Well, I mean, I can't argue that. Squats, Romanian deadlifts. If I was gonna do just squats, obviously, that's pretty much me. I just squat. But I do like to pepper in like sissy squats and just something like a couple like one-legged variations, like a pistol squat or so like I don't know, some kind of single leg isolation movement. I think if you have those 3 going on, you have a pretty comprehensive leg routine. And then of course you should change the variety of barbell squats too. So 1 week I do with the camber bar because it puts the center of gravity forward and puts you a little more upright. Then the second week I'll do this barbell and I'll do regular old low bar squats. And then the third week we would pretty much rotate the bars but change the stance with. We kind of go in a rotation like that, and that way you're changing up your stimulus. Even if you just move your feet in a little bit or out a little bit, you're going to have a way stronger base squat by doing that. That was the one thing I added was something that worked your articulation, like your what are those things called? What do the ladies do in the gym where they got machine? Banded squats work really well for that. I put the band around my knees, and then I have a really close stance, and then as you squat, you open your knees up. So that would work. That would help with your support, like the piriformis and your the piriformis, gluteus minimus, rectus femoris. What the fuck is that muscle that opens your legs up? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. J Doe, Semper Fi, hell yeah, man. Dakota Meyer re-enlisted. Really? I think they'll take a 50-year-old? Sassafras, what's up? Yeah, upright rows are awesome. Oh, you know what I started doing now again is meadows rows with the what's that called, the landmine. Jim's got a landmine in the corner. You put the barbell in there and you can do meadows rows with it. I kind of forgot about how much you can do with a landmine, and it's a really awesome. I mean, as a matter of fact, my first gym was just a landmine and a couple plates, and you could do some serious training with that. J Doe. All right, let me bust this out here. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. God damn it. I've been having a little bit of an issue lately. So on the 11th, I have to have a surgical procedure done. They're gonna go. I've had a deviated septum from having my nose broke, and 2 weeks ago, I was doing some light sparring, and the guy knows I can't use my arm, so I was only wearing one glove, and we were just messing around, and he got me in the clinch and he swept me, and I clipped my nose on his knee, and it busted the cartilage. Like, I've had my nose broke 4 times, so the cartilage is messed up. And ever since he did that, I've been getting nosebleeds on this side. So on the 11th, they're going to go in and they're going to do a procedure where they basically remove everything. And it's just been kind of irritating dealing with that. MD28, what's up? They did, let's see, re-enlistment was the Secretary of Defense. Let me see here. I'm going to look Dakota up real quick. I mean, I don't know. All right. So, funny story. When I was 46, so 50 now, so that was, what year was that? 25, 24, 3, 22. Yeah, right around 2021, when they upped the age of enlistment to 46, I got a letter. I got a letter from the Marines stating that I could get a $70,000 bonus to re-enlist in my MLS. Because they needed people that, I'm a fire direction controlman, artillery, and they were looking for people that had that skill set. I guess there was a shortage. And I was making a little over 6 figures in construction. And I told my wife, I was like, what do you think, man? Should I do this? Like, I was really considering it for a minute. But then you think about all the good times you had. You think about going on float, the phosphorescent waves, coming off the hull of the ship when you're blacked out at night. Or, riding an LCAC onto the shore, or, the 6-gun batteries shooting rocket-assisted propellant, or doing like when we did the infantry training, because as a general support uh, battalion, they would turn us into an infantry. Uh, oh, that's my wife. Hey, what's up, Anna? Hey. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Living the dream, man.
Oh, yeah.
Living the fucking dream.
Man, did you hear that message he left me?
Oh, dude.
That shit was hilarious. What does he think I'm gonna do?
Well, you dumbass. I told him, I was like, why don't you fucking read it? He wasn't threatening to come after you.
Well, even if I was, like, come on, dude, be a grown man.
Oh, trust me, I've said that to him more than once today.
Unbelievable.
Trust me.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get into that drama. We had some drama with some friends today. Guy threatened my life. It's pretty hilarious. Anyway. So anyway, I was putting serious thought into realistic for about 3 days. And then I started thinking about, like, okay, formations. I would be in the S3 when I got injured. I was typing, and it would be, 1600, and you'd see the formations on the grinder breaking up to go home for the night, and they come in there and put another pile of paperwork on my desk saying, here you go. That was right when we were upgrading from Windows 95 to Windows 98 for the administrative computers. And because I could type 50 words a minute, I had to sit there, and they didn't have a way to import the data from the old shitty 95 machines to the new shitty 98 ones. So I had to manually input all the data. So they printed out all these records from the SQL server, which got all the training logs and a whole bunch of other bullshit. And every time I'd get that stack down, this fucking asshole Lance Corporal would come in and dump another pile on my desk. And that's when I blew my knee out. So I had to think about that. I think about being non-recommended for promotion because I accidentally melted the master sergeant's coffee maker when I was hooking the generator up. I thought about field day, where we were stuck there all weekend because some asshole couldn't get his room clean, and you were in charge of that fire team. And just shit like that. I thought about it, and I'm like, nah, fuck that, I'm done. But let's see, what did Dakota get into? I don't know. I love the Corps. I think every Marine's relationship with the Corps is love-hate. You think about all the... How could something be so awesome and at the same time be such a piece of shit? How could it be the best time of your life and the worst time of your life at the same time? How is that possible? Okay, Dakota Meyer, a Medal of Honor recipient, re-enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserve after 15 years, citing a deep desire to continue servicing and contributing to the nation's defense. Well, how old does that make him? See, he was, when he got blowed up, he was, 20... So he's 36 years old. I guess it depends on what rank they gave him. Let's see. He had a single day in the last 15 years where he didn't wake up wanting to serve again. He believed that once you've been in the fight, the desire to serve doesn't go away. Yeah, that's true. I really do. I guess I should have looked into the reserves. I did actually join the Naval Reserve, but I got separated because of my injuries. Let's just say what rank he is. But that's the other thing. If I would have re-enlisted, there's a chance I would have gotten a promotion out of it, but it would have been very highly unlikely that they would have re-enlisted somebody who had been out for 20 years as a staff NCO. So I probably would have been an E5, and that would have really fucking sucked to be a 46-year-old sergeant. Can you imagine? Let's see, MD28. What's good, Uncle? How you doing today? We just got back from the gym. Hell yeah. SMF. Hello, brother. Let's see, J. Doe. That'd be awesome. They did. Meyer ended up going into the reserves as reenlistment was conducted. Secretary of Defense and Sergeant Major You still interested in making a Gen X Power Discord server? Yes. Any absent Yarrow? Yeah, I want to do a Discord, members only. Um, but the reason I haven't is because I have horrible time management. I work, as you guys know, I'm the Las Vegas area safety manager for Southwest Steel, and sometimes we work 60-hour weeks. And then on top of that, training. We got my kids. We do Muay Thai, do band practice, Girl Scouts. Just also, my son and I started playing. We're playing Warhammer at the War Room. Obviously, I got a lot of shit on my plate, so I didn't want to get into something that I couldn't manage. And if I made a promise, I wanted to be able to keep it. Right now, I'm training somebody. I don't know what's his name. It was Smart Gamer 666. I agreed to train him, and I'm having a terrible time keeping up with him. And that's just one person. So, yeah, if you're willing to help me with that, I would absolutely love to make a Discord. Fuck being on a boat. Unfortunately, I started downsizing artillery. Yeah, so, I would have been a HIMARS guy. As a matter of fact, 5th Battalion, 11th Marines was becoming a HIMARS battalion when I was getting out. So, but they still need fire direction Marines. If that would be more like rocket artillery. That's interesting. Now that you say that, but this was, of course, 4 years ago. So at that time, they were still under the same doctrine they are, traditional doctrine. So yeah, maybe now they don't need that MLS as much as they did then. Let's see. Today, my biochemistry professor told us during class, women suffer more than men during periods of war for some reason. Do you believe this to be true? Well, so my wife was taking biochemistry at UNLV. You and her would have a lot to talk about. Oh, she's microbiology, biochemistry. I'm a chemistry guy. I was going to school to become a chemical engineer, but you're into like organic chemistry. I don't know why. Okay, your point. I guess I would need context. Suffer more during times of war. Is that just women in general, or women that are participating in the armed services compared to men? What are they? How are they comparing women as a demographic to men as a demographic? In what context? Fernando says, "What's up? Hit me up on Signal and we'll exchange Discord info." Yeah, I'll hit you up, brother. Women who are at home during time of war. Fuck that, getting talked down by 26-year-old staffs and gunnies. Yeah, right? Could you imagine? Man, I made it, so I was on, this was like 10 years ago. No, it wasn't that. Yeah, about 10 years ago, I was on some Facebook page where this drill instructor was yelling at recruits. And I made a joke like, I don't know, something that suggested I'd whip this guy's ass. There's no way I would let him talk to me like that if I went to boot camp again. And all these young kids are like, you don't know, drill instructors are, I'm like if I had to go to boot camp. Oh, that's what it was. If I there was some condition where if I re-enlisted, if I had to go to boot camp again, how would I do? And I said I would do horrible because I would just be fucking talking shit to the drill instructors the whole time. And all the young kids that were getting ready to go in were calling me out saying that I was full of shit. There's no way I would talk back to a drill instructor. And I said, not only would I talk back to him, I would probably open challenge him to a fist fight. And they were like, no, you wouldn't. He'd kick your ass. And I was like, bro, they're actors. Like, I have friends that were drill instructors. You need a billet to get promoted. Some guys go become recruiters. Some guys go to drill instructors. That's a pretty badass billet. I said, but they're just dudes. Like, that's an act. They're not like that in real life. And they just didn't understand. I was like, if you had to go back to boot camp, Jay, right now, do you think that you could make it through without laughing at that guy when he's talking to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like yelling in your face when you like boop his nose. like, what are you gonna do? What is he gonna do? Nothing. Especially in today's core where you get like stress cards. Dude, I would be section 8'd out of boot camp so fast because I'd be talking mad shit. I would be egging those motherfuckers on so hard. Georgie says, your shirt looks a little gay tonight. Well, it must be the lighting. Women who are at home during time of war. Oh yeah, back to your point, Matt. I can see that because, you know, let's think about this. Most of the Marines that I knew that had women when they were deployed, they were usually emptying their bank accounts out and hooking up with Sancho, you know what I mean? In 2021, Force Doctrine was making the first steps towards changing around April, July. I was there directly when they stood up the 3rd LCT after their last deployment, 1-3. Oh, no shit. Why would someone get rejected from the military? I applied multiple times in the ages 18 to 23, and they told me no. Bobby B. Well, Bobby, what was the reason they told you no? Let's start with that. A lot of guys dry snitch on themselves. So, MEPS is designed to weed people out. And they're usually trying to catch people that lie about things while they're enlisted. And the way they catch you about lying is usually a manipulation to get you to say things that are inconsistent with previous statements. Such as if you say on your enlistment papers that you've never done drugs, but then you're at MEPS and you admit to that one time you did marijuana, because the guy's like, come on, you tell me you never smoked marijuana once in your life. You go, well, there was this one time. No. Whatever story you went in with is the one you fucking go to the grave with. That's an easy way to get rejected. Let's see. Funniest part about that is they've, over time, re-implemented legacy-style unit structure because commanders are adverse to change. Yeah, so I heard they were also reorganizing the MARSOC. Is that true? Like, I first heard that they were getting rid of the Raiders, and I thought, well, that doesn't make sense. All right, I gotta hit these squats. Fuck. What am I doing again? I hate having this wad of cotton shoved up my nose. I get because of the blood I've been having. I try to do it so you can't see it. It's really annoying. Although I may have to tell him about my opiate use after surgery. If it was prescribed, I think you'd be all right. No, but seriously, like a lot of kids, you know, when they're doing their enlistment papers, even recruiters will tell them certain minor things that might exclude you from military service. They'll lie about on their enlistment papers, and as long as you keep your story straight and you don't change, you're probably fine. And then you go to MEPS, and the guys they're really friendly too. They talk to you like they're your best friend. You're all nervous, you're young, you don't know shit. And they'll just try to be like, you know, they're like all buddy with you. Like, oh man, yeah, you know, like, this one time I did this, that, and the other thing. You're starting to feel comfortable around them. You're like, well, if I'm being completely honest, there was this one time I, you know, raped this hooker and then chopped her head off and buried her in my basement. But other than that, you know. Yeah, they did that. MARSOC has a 2030 plan for laying out what their niche will be. There's nothing that distinguishes them from SOCOM units. Well, yeah, no, but the Marines always wanted their own direct action because up to that point you had Force Recon, which was not considered a Tier 2 unit. It wasn't considered special operations. Even though they were doing special operations, they were doing the work. If you recall the first Gulf War, uh, Desert Storm, that was pretty much all Force Recon and Navy SEALs that went in there to establish all the targets so that they could bomb the shit out of them and take his air, his entire air defense grid offline. Pretty much wiped them out. What was it, 2 days of bombing? And he took out, I want to say the third most heavily defended ground-to-air defense network on Earth. We took out in 2 days but the way the technology was back in '91, it was line of sight. So somebody had to go in there and literally laze targets or put them on a grid for like a B-52 to carpet bomb. And it was the Nighthawks, the F-117s at night, and then during the day it was like your Tomcats, your what is it, the F-18s. We did have they were all carrier based. I want to say for the first. But anyway, so we took out all of his air defenses, but it was all because they had Marines that snuck in there, and that was Force Recon. But they weren't considered Tier 2 operators. They were considered conventional infantry with a specialty, kind of like Army Airborne. But now they sort of evolved into what would be considered like being on par with the Rangers, and then from there the best of the best went to MARSOC, because you had the Raiders, and so now the Marines have their own direct action force, pretty much on par with the SEALs. I don't know. Let me think about this. Because to be a Raider, you had to be a Marine. You couldn't be in any other branch of service like Delta. They really. Could you enlist as a Marine, as a Raider, and then you could enlist as a SEAL, and then most likely you're gonna fail and then become a cook. Do they do that in the Marines? Recon had a specific mission set. MARSOC is sort of the blanket unit that can give conduct on any missions, which doesn't give them preference for deployments. They compete against the Green Berets. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, that makes sense because now today's military being deployable by the Navy isn't the advantage it used to be. Because they have all those bases that are, of course, over there by China, and then they have the Green Berets that can just jump right in. But that would have made sense for the Marines to have that. What about Fast Company? The Fleet Anti-Terrorist guys, which are more like a SWAT team, right? You couldn't enlist directly into MARSOC. You had to have already been in the Corps for 2. Okay, yeah. So they are pretty elite. I mean, if they're training, I might have a bias, but I can tell you right now, I would way rather be a Raider than a Navy SEAL. Is it possible for one to fast themselves out of homosexuality? Matthew, you know what I'd say? Get in where you fit in, brother. That's right. I generally say that what you decide to do with your genitals and who you decide to insert them into or have them inserted into is probably the least interesting thing about a person. And I'm not sure what year we started identifying ourselves by what we did with our wieners. Like you can say, I'm Charlie, I'm a Marine, and I'm a power lifter. And the other guy be like, I'm Charlie, and I'm gay. Okay. Well, do anything else? No, I'm gay. That's it. What else do you need? And then, of course, they don't miss a chance to talk to you about it. Like, hey, did you know I was gay? I had no idea. Oh, I have so many jokes, but I don't know if they're appropriate. Oh, did you guys see this? Yeah. I got a collection of swords. I gotta have this. This was made in Romania. It's a 1090 high carbon steel. A while since yeah, is this a halberd? I can't do the roll. The Highlander roll. Ooh! I cut my leg off. I thought about Nevada's an open carry state, and a lot of guys carry firearms. So I thought about going to the store. Strap. Instead of open carry, I'll just bring this bad boy with me. I forgot I had this. I was cleaning the garage and I was like, holy shit. You never know what you're going to find. Alright. God knows the way to hold it. Spent too much time talking to you guys. Warm up again. Something to eat right here. It's not heavy. Feels like it's gonna fall off my back. You know what? I'm worried that I'm letting fear get the better of me. I'm so scared of re-injuring this arm. Two, three. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Woo. I'm favoring this leg. Whew. Let's see. There are two ways to be fooled. Believe it, what isn't true. Refuse to believe what is true. I swear my father-in-law did both at the same time. Blew 1.38. What are we talking about? Jazz ragu? Michael Mack asked if I'm a bodybuilder. No. I'm a powerlifter. But thank you. Yes, it was entirely. I lost the conversation here. Fast at the same time. Oh, okay. Fast is the same tier as Recon in that they're considered tier 3. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I thought Recon was bumped up. I thought they were considered tier 2. No, that makes sense because Marsoc's tier 2. I swear my father-in-law. I don't know, Jazz Ragu. What? Give me some context about your father-in-law. Matthew Miller. I love dogs so much. Are they tasty or fun to have? Honestly, if someone came to a grocery store that I was at dressed as the Witcher with a whole sword in your size, I'm definitely going to be feeling safer. Dude, I should do it. And then when security comes and confronts me, I'm going to be like, it's open carry, right? So I have katanas. I have a legit or genuine World War II Japanese officer sword with the letter to the officer it was commissioned from the guy that was commissioning him, and it's still razor sharp. It's still razor sharp after being however old, 100 years old. It's got a full tang with the signature of the artisan that crafted it. Oh, here, let me show you guys. Yeah, so this is a World War II Japanese officer sword. It's got the right here. That's the seal of the artisan that crafted it. And these were converted to have locking. Let's see, that's Suba. So this is not the feature that you would have on a regular katana with this lock. But because these were considered uniform issue for officers in World War II, they were shorter, much like the Americans' officer sword. And a lot of them, they took their old katanas that were handed down from their families, and then they just rewrapped and put new subas on them, and of course the scabbard. Towards the end of the war, these started becoming mass-produced, and they were of much lower quality, and usually the handles were chopped. So if you get one like that, they're probably only worth like $500. But if you get one like this has the potential to be worth a couple $100,000. Now, one of the things that distinguishes this from any other one is this this letter of commission, which I do keep wrapped in saran wrap because it's fragile. But it's a letter from the commanding officer to the officer it was being issued to. Now, this has never been sharpened, and assuming that it's at least as old as World War II, it does have a little bit of rust on it. The only thing I do is I keep it oiled. But now check this out. I've never ever once ever sharpened this blade. And it's just like right? Like, holy shit. Oop. You know, it's like, god damn. So like this will end your day. Now I used to take a kendo, and I have a couple of katanas, and they're very real. They're made out of high carbon steel, and they were about $1,000 each. But this, see, it's got a little bit of rust on the edge there. But they told me, I was told not to try to polish the rust off of it. I was told to leave it exactly as it is and just oil it. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It is the pride and joy of my collection. And like things like this that are loose, they said don't glue it, don't do anything to it, just leave it as it is. And I would be surprised if this wasn't at a minimum worth $15,000. Just because of how good of a complete example it is. Put it back. Hmm. 5-minute rest per set. No, I'm more like the 15 to 20-minute rest from talking too much. Something you could do: wrist tonation, supination with hands. Yeah, I could do that. And I'm probably gonna do upper body training tomorrow with the Smith machine, because I can press the bench and then lower it with the good arm. Thanks, Jarl. Yeah, no, it's so fucking cool. I've been trying to get this sort of praise, but I can't find anybody. So this the one thing that the one guy I did call, who interpreted the letter, he told me that I should do the right thing and try to find the family it belongs to and return it to them. And I was like, ugh. I begged my dad for decades to give that thing to me. It just sat in the basement, and he finally gave it to me. And now this guy hits me with a morality thing where it's like the right thing to do would be to find the family it belongs to and return it to him. And you've got the name of the officer on the letter. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to. What do you think? What do you guys think? You guys think it's... Should I try to find the family it belongs to? I mean, I guess how cool would that be? Because, probably didn't make its way to America because he survived the war. I don't know, man. I every time I think about it, my brain says you should probably do the right thing. But then my greedy, I don't know. Looking for my foot braces. Decided to start storing everything in one spot. What is it? Well, I guess this will be adequate. I really hate the fuck that ankles up there. Be right back. I'm gonna go get my wraps. Sorry about that. Oh. Man. I'll take that gauze out just to see how bad it looks bleeding or not. Come on, I look at something okay. Yeah, that dude got me right good, man. I got cracked in the nose right here. And it was swollen for a couple of days. It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't that hard of a hit, but it was, when he hit me, I could hear a crunch. Like that sound when you're chewing on the end of a chicken bone. And then immediately both of my eyes felt like they were going to pop out of my head. What time is it? Holy shit. It's 11 o'clock? Fuck. I'm going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. I didn't realize I was on this long. 2 hours. I've also I've gotten into this really shitty habit of I'll make a stream and I'll set it for like an hour. And then an hour will go by and I'm not ready. So I'll push it forward another half hour, and I'll do that like 3 or 4 times. So where I could have gotten on and stayed online for 3 hours and still gotten off at a decent time, now I'm like an hour past where I should be in bed. I need to get my discipline back. And people often ask me, like, what's more important, motivation or discipline? I said, well, let's define the two. The discipline implies you make yourself do what you need to do regardless of whether you want to or not. Motivation is it's an emotion that's usually a positive one. Like for me, I watched Mighty Mouse and Rod Tang sparring over in Thailand, and I was motivated to kick the heavy bag. Discipline is making yourself work out when you have no desire to. And I've got to a point where I don't have either. And that is no bueno. Alright. Mighty Mouse is my favorite. It's a family heirloom to your family. It's been in your family longer, and they did lose the war. Yeah, but I could say that if, let's say, my grandpa had gotten killed, and someone from Japan brought over I don't know, something of his. I don't know if I would it mean? I don't know what you would compare that to. What would be something equal? Because American soldiers, they weren't really issued things like Marines. If you want an NCO sword, you got to go buy that motherfucker. They don't issue that shit. You're authorized to wear it, but provided that your company or battery is also they have that in their uniform. If they're doing dress uniforms, then everyone else has to have a sword too. Otherwise, generally, you're not allowed to wear it. It's like the mess whites, that they wear to like formal functions, or no, maybe not that. A bit more honor and specialty to swords until the end of the war. Yes. Yeah, and the ones that, like the real cheap ones at the end of the war were made out of stamped steel, and they were still polished and sharpened, but the edges they had they didn't have the heat temper lines that are like you can see like if you tilt the blade in the light, you can see where the temper lines are from the different temperatures from the clay coating that they use to heat the blades, and they didn't have full. Is it tang? Is that what they call that? The handle, or is it Suba tang? Oh man, I used to know all the parts. But anyway, they had half a handle, or they were taking family swords from fallen officers and recycling them, and they were cutting these pieces of art. They were literally sawing the handles off of them and cutting the length off of them. One of the most expensive Japanese officer swords I've ever seen went for $250,000, but it was a full katana with a full like 4-foot blade with a curve, and it was huge. It was like something a samurai on the front line would hold. And that was the officers at the beginning of the war, and that was a family sword handed down from generations. And the guys at the end were just like they were getting like recycled springs from pickup trucks that were just sharpened like a machete. Here you go, buddy. Get out there and bomb yourself. Considering that they had to resort to suicide bombing, what do they call those guys? Kamikaze pilots. And when I first started studying Japanese history, I was under the impression that they did not fear death, and they, like the samurai were like eager to die or whatever. They didn't. And it was interesting to find out that most of the kamikaze pilots were petrified of dying, but they didn't want to dishonor their family's name because that was a big deal. That could you could smear your family for generations if you failed to uphold the honor. So most of them felt like they had to commit suicide, and then of course the Empire of Japan falling to pieces. Like literally the only thing they had left were untrained pilots that turned shitty aircraft into human guided missiles. Like that's where they were at with it, and we still had to drop a second nuke on them for them to surrender. Like, talk about, that's psychotic. If the interesting thing is if you're a student of history, and you look at like the Saracens, or Persians, or the Mongolians, or like the Romans to an extent, or the Vikings, all the war cultures where, I'm trying to compare it to our military. We have an all-volunteer force, which is our strength. So what makes us strong is everybody that's enlisted or in the service now asked to be there. Nobody got drafted. And you can say there's exceptions, like the guy that says, that's got arrested and the judge says join the army or you're going to jail. Like, okay, there's some of those. There's some that got coerced by their families. There's some like me who were homeless and we just wanted to get off the streets and we didn't give a fuck. I picked the Marines because they had the coolest uniform. But even I wanted to be there. Like I genuinely wanted to be a Marine. I was so desperate to change my situation that failure was not an option. And having lived on the streets, like being homeless, it made boot camp a joke. Like all these guys are just like having such a hard time, and I'm like, I got a roof over my head, and we're eating 3 times a day. Fuck yeah, man! This is great. This guy's yelling at me again. Shit. And I was one of the oldest recruits in my company because I turned 20 while I was in boot camp, and that made me the old man for some reason. Jeffrey, welcome, brother. Jeffrey, we're gonna make a members only Discord here pretty soon. We're talking about it. Just so you know, I don't know how that's gonna turn out. Thanks for all you did and continue to do for our freedom. I appreciate that, but I don't know. I mean, I always do the best I can, I guess. Muffin Man, potentially watch some videos. You may have to wide-handed placement or incorrect form on your bench. Oh, you're talking to Muffin Man. Okay. Oh, God damn it, my nose is starting to bleed again. So, when that happened, I take these little tiny cotton squares here. I'm going to fold them. This sucks. I told you guys on the 11th they're gonna do surgery on my sinus cavities. I've had my nose broke so many times. And now, ever since I got popped in the nose a week ago, I've been having pretty much, a bloody nose, just randomly. My max squat, hairy man. Right before I had surgery, I was hitting almost 700 with sleeves. At 220 weight class. Actually, was the number one squat in the world for my age of 50 and weight class 220. I had the highest squat. I think I had I'm not ranked this year because I have not competed in 2025. But if you check my rankings last year, if you go by McCulloch, or no, actually I did better with dots. I think my McCulloch. So what the McCulloch scoring for powerlifting is essentially dots with an age modifier. So McCulloch takes age into the calculation. And I had a 5'10 McCulloch and a 470 dots, somewhere around there. And I finished, I want to say second or third in the world, all federations, for my age and weight at the age of 50. And at the age of 49, I was ranked 4 or 5. And then for the last 5 years previous to that, I was at the top 5 in the world consistently. My squat went up. I almost got to 600, and then in 2020 or 2019, I had a back injury. I had to rehab for a year, and then I got back above 600 again. As a matter of fact, if you go to the video if you go to my page and you look at my opening video, whatever that video is when you go to the showcase, that's me hitting 600 in competition for the first time. And since that video, I've been able to rep 600 pounds. This competition where I busted the bicep, that was in March. I wasn't able to compete. My last squat day in training, I hit 605 pounds for 5 reps. Did I do that for 5 guys? And I was going to attempt at least a 680 pound squat. And I think I could have gotten 700, but that wouldn't have been guaranteed. But I'm right up there. And that's raw. That's not with sleeves or wraps. So I had a really good squat. For my age, being 50 years old, I would say that I am one of the best squatters in the world. I'd stand by that. So I tore my bicep right off the bone. And I was lucky because they were able to get me to surgery a week later. And it's you can see I got a tiny bicep. Big right here. And then I haven't worked out in a month, so I'm actually still looking pretty good. How does it feel to be number 2? I don't. Obviously, I've had random bloody noses since I'm 3. I've gone to doctors, but they say can't find anything wrong with me. And it's only my left nostril, and it is because of the cartilage being separated from the bone. And I have a deviated. So I've had my nose flattened like this. I had to. I don't know if you guys can see right here. The bone kind of goes this way and up. They had to reset it. Oh my God, that was so horrible. That was bad. That was a bad day. I don't know. It's like getting punched in the face, I guess. Flat bench hurts me. Would you say the Smith machine is a good substitute? So stay in your lane. Um, Here's the deal. I would want to diagnose why the bench hurts you. So I would need more context because my first option would be to fix your bench so that it doesn't hurt or to diagnose why it hurts. I don't recommend the Smith machine without a diagnosis of what is causing your pain to begin with. And then from there, we would look at how to treat the injury as opposed to putting it under a different load that changes the stressor. And if there's something wrong with, like, say, your labrum or your whatever the case is, if it's not something that can be repaired, then we would want to look at how to fix it using physical therapy. And I've got plenty of lifts for that. I would go to like something like a cambered barbell or dumbbells that extend the range of motion, for example. Some people say flat. Let's see. Honestly, I don't care. Let's see. I'm not chasing numbers when lifting. Yeah, so that's, numbers are. If you're lifting for physique, I don't think numbers matter. Do you ever fear tearing a pec benching? No. The only people I know that tear pectorals, I'm not saying it's impossible if you're natural, but the only people I know that it's happened to are all PED users. And generally speaking, they're on a lot of drugs for a long period of time, and they're way stronger than their muscle strength has outpaced their tendon strength. You could even say that's a possibility for me. Now, I've been on a relatively small dose of PEDs since the age of 46. But I also do very deliberate full range of motion exercises to specifically address that. That being said, my shoulders hurt when I bench due to having the heart of an adult lesbian. I was told shoulder impingement, but nothing has helped. Okay, so that now we're getting somewhere. So you have an impingement. So what I would want to do is I'd want to discover where the impingement is and at what angle of deflection when you're articulating it happens at. Because it can be something as simple as bringing your grip in and out. Seriously, like, for most people, when they squat narrow, for example, there's a natural hip impingement where the femur goes into the labrum. And when they hit that impingement, they cannot physically get ass to grass unless they open their hips up, which clears the impingement. Now they can dump all the way down. Well, it's the same thing with the shoulders. If you're pressing and you have an impingement, you want to find where that impingement is and what directions it's at. Is it on the bone socket? Is it digging into your labrum? Is it something that's physically hitting? You know what I mean? Like, we want to find out where that impingement is. And then, of course, the next thing is, what can we do about it? Now, if it's something that's unnatural to your body, you might have to get surgery, but that doesn't mean we can't. Yeah, I would have to. If you could make a video, you could upload it to YouTube, and you could make it private or unlisted, and then you could tag me in it, and I could look at it, and I could, between my wife and I, my wife's more the physical therapist, and she's the one with the biology expertise. She has much more expertise in the field than I do. And we also have a friend who's an actual physical therapist. So between the three of us, we've been pretty good at lining people out. As long as it's something that's not, it's not so severe that it requires surgical intervention. And a lot of people that go for surgical intervention don't even know that they can use physical therapy to improve the quality of their life. A lot of them just bypass that completely. Thank you, Bufferman. Hey, what's up, knee pain? You've been running a lot. Started lifting a little more. So I need to do. So I've been dark on YouTube. I went to a bad place because of my arm surgery, and I kind of wallowed in self-pity there for a little bit, and then I lost my motivation to get online. So let me see here. me go to your channel here. Everybody should check out Knee Pain. He's got very interesting content, especially if you're into like what would you call yourself? Like an AV specialist? Would that be accurate? Take your shirt off and flex. You're gonna pay me. Look, it's free, but touching it costs you. Anything for shoulder pain. Well, that's what we're talking about. Eve acid. Shoulder pain is not enough information. I need to have more context. Where do you have shoulder pain? What's causing it? Then we can look at what to do about it. And it's usually something as simple as either adding stretching to your routine or increasing your range of motion. Using like a camber bar or dumbbells. But again, I would need to know. I need something more specific than just shoulder pain. All right. I am way, way, way past my bedtime, but I wanted to do a little mobility work because I'm going to be going back to the gym here soon. The Muay Thai place I train at. So I'm trying to get that shit strong. That way I'm not like a fish out of water. Because I spar with guys that are in their 20s and 30s. As you can imagine. Most of them are faster, have better lungs. Actually, they were hit hard in this road. Leaf blower. I'm not going to do my full stretching routine. I got to do some of it. also be because it's late, and maybe a little bit hydrated. We're gonna switch this. If your balance is off, you can do something. It's better to practice without it. At the end of the day, you want to get to stretch it. Yeah, I'm rusty. I usually don't need it as support for this stuff. This is one of the harder squat variations that I know how to do because you're stretching out your piriformis, your hips. It makes me really angry. I have to support and stuff. Really hard to get ass to your ass when you can't. You're a badass. Think of it like a pistol squat with a stretch. Ah. I promise I'm almost done. You guys like sadomasochists? People that torture themselves for fun? The trick is to go right to where it's uncomfortable, not painful. And sit in that for like 15 seconds, maybe 30. And then take a deep breath. And then exhale deeper. Repeat that process maybe 2 or 3 times each day, and you'll progress. Last but not least, if you guys are looking for both a really awesome ankle and calf exercise using just your body weight, all you have to do is in a squatted position, you can do what's called calf raises. Try to get up on, the goal is to get up on your toe, your big toe. So if you look at my feet, most people get up to this. We got the ball, their foot, and toe. We want to get up on the toes like a ballet dancer. And then, so using your whole body weight to move to raise your calf. Until sets to failure, if that's what your goal is. And then you want to strengthen and bulletproof the ankles. You want to trunk and roll in at work, work moves. This will strengthen those beautifully, and it's also awesome for your balance. I don't know too many people that are my age that can still do this. It's really good for it really helps with like kick rotation. If you're flat-footed, it's hard to turn like flat-footed. My balance is shitty tonight. Oh man, what time is it? It's 11:30. Oh, it's not way past my bedtime. You got enough to get to 8,000 tonight? There it is. That's the problem. All right. I need to work on my footwork. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Your ability to articulate, it will be a huge indicator for your success. Your ability to be successful through any endeavor that you participate in. So if you can work on your writing abilities, and you can work on crafting, not necessarily, you know, you don't have to have like you don't have to sound like Dr. Jordan Peterson, but being able to like articulate using cadence and diction that is flowing and entertaining to the people you're talking to. Like you guys all know, I dropped that barbell on my neck, so now I sound like RFK. But I was quite the orator. I would say that's largely responsible for my ability to like get promoted or move to different companies. Pretty much based on just the way I was able to convince people. And a lot of that is, no matter what endeavor you get into, you're essentially selling yourself. And people will look at your writing, and especially the people that utilize that kind of skill set, they're going to know immediately that you're going to be someone that's going to be of value, or an aptitude that they're looking to acquire. I don't know. You don't necessarily have to be a great writer if you're a good orator. If you can handle a crowd very well. You can speak fluently in an assertive diction. It's like holding a meeting, that kind of thing. I don't know if talking on YouTube counts. Maybe. I mean, it's not a bad. Yeah, I mean, if that's something that you're trying to cultivate, it might not be a bad idea just to have some kind of social media platform where you could practice speaking in front of others. If you guys want to check out my writing style, I did a lot of articles for Quora, although it's been a couple of years since I wrote a new one. It was mostly Second Amendment and Second Amendment related, or I don't know, the principles of Western philosophy, that kind of thing. We talked about like the Articles of Confederation. We talked about English common law. We talked about the Enlightenment. Basically, freedom of the individual as a being that has an intrinsic spark of the divine, granted by God, that kind of thing. You can read my shit and tell me if I'm a blowhard or not. But it's stuff I'm pretty passionate about. And I was 100% self-taught because I pretty much failed I was not a good student in grade school or high school. I didn't do good where they forced me to go. It wasn't until I went back to school after I got out of the service that I did fairly well because I volunteered and paid for it. I'm going to get offline here in a couple minutes just because it's so late. I got my stretching in. I did a few sets of squats. I wouldn't call it a great start. I could have done way more weight. That wasn't enough volume to be really a workout, but it's just a good test to see where I was at. 315 still moved like it was nothing. So that's a good sign. So when I do a couple reps with like 3-second pauses with short partials. Yeah, right here. So my switches. The switch was really hard for me, but I've gotten it. I got a pretty snappy one. Spam, and I'm already switched and bladed to the target. So I have it's like using a hybrid taekwondo roundhouse, which would normally be ill-advised if you were in a squared-up stance. But if you're switch kicking, it's awesome. You can get a lot of power out of it. So I can spin this as soon as I bring my foot down, wheel it back already. Just quite a really snap it though. I can't open my hips up. I have to work on that. Wheel. Raphael Brucius Costu. See what he wrote. Drug abuse. Oh, sorry to hear that, Raphael. You're in a good place, though. If you want to talk about it, we're here for you. Wait, which drugs are you abusing? Sure, we're getting a quick workout tonight just to get the blood going. Hell yeah! I should hope any criminal justice degree requires 3 writing prerequisites. What are you getting a criminal justice degree for, though? What's the field you're going for? Raphael, if you're still in the comments, could you please come up with something clever? You don't have a comeback for something as lame as drug abuse. Work with me, will you? It really pisses me off when people are trolls, but they suck. Oh, I can't work with that. you want to say something back? I was like, oh, did it? Today I'm going to police and fire department. Well, I could see getting a criminal justice degree these days. So my dad was a cop for 50 years. And he graduated with a degree in mathematics from Loyola, a master's degree. And I asked him, I said, how come you didn't get a criminal justice degree like the other police officers? And he said, I do that for a living. What do I need that for? I've been working this job for, I think at the time, 35 years. Like, if I don't know my job by now, I don't think a college degree is going to help me. But then something started happening where places needed credentials to weed people out. So even construction, I'm a board certified construction health and safety technician, CHST. And the BCSP is like a board certification for industry, heavy industry and construction. And I'm here to tell you that test, and the shit that was on it, it doesn't separate you from anybody else that's doing the job. But for some reason, they want to see those credentials. They'll take people that have those credentials with no construction experience over some guy that's been working in the field for 20 years but doesn't have a degree. So I had to do the same thing. I went and got that. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is if you do become a police officer, you pretty much, that's what you'll be doing. Oh, so you have to have it to become an officer. See, I don't know. So the thing that bothers me about that is, what do they pay the officers? Do you know? So if it's like here in Nevada, where a police officer can make $120,000, $130,000 a year, then I can see that. $30 an hour. Yes, you gotta get a fucking bachelor's degree to get a $30 an hour job. I don't know what the cost of living is where you're at. My wife stays at home and I work, and she actually, when she was working, she made more money. But it was during the COVID years that year, and we thought it was better for the kids. Like I said, you know what? I'll take the sacrifice with money if you stay home with the kids and see if I can pull it off. And I think my hourly wage would be somewhere right around 50 before overtime. So I make 50 an hour, we'll say. But I get a decent amount of overtime too. And I honestly don't know how anybody can survive with a family on less than that. And you know, I have a house that was built in the 80s. It's nice, but it's only 1,600 square feet. And we own all our vehicles, but they're nothing fancy. I got a 2017 Chevy Sonic. I got an '09 Mustang. My wife's got a Tahoe. But you know, we don't have a lot of fancy stuff. I don't know how anyone can live on that. You'd have to have, like, everybody in the family would have to work. And you know, maybe that's where we're at. I mean, back in the day, the whole family worked, so I guess it's not that different. But I don't know. Like, when I was growing up, Dad was a cop, Mom stayed at home, and we did perfectly fine. And it seems like those days are gone, and that really sucks, you know? Oh, so it was still, yeah, okay. Yeah, you should come out here to Nevada. My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, he's served in the Corps. He's a Metro cop. He's been on the force for, I want to say, at least 13 years. And they make way more money out here. Yeah, my dad was a cop for 50 fucking years. He started out as a dispatcher. And I was reading his resume, he did one of those papers he had to submit, which was like a biography. And I didn't know this about him. He never told me. He took a job as a dispatcher at the police station so he could supplement his budding professional bowling career. I didn't know my, I'm thinking of like what's that movie with Roy Munson, and Bill Murray, and listen, my dad's a professional bowler. Unfortunately, his professional bowling didn't pan out, so he decided to become a police officer, and he went from dispatcher to elected official, police chief. And he stayed on the force for a total of 50 years. And then after he retired, he became a U.S. Marshal, and he was the guy down at the courthouse that made you go through the metal detector. So even in retirement, he still puts on the uniform. And the reason I didn't become a cop is when I got out of the military, I started doing the testing to become a CHP or Border Patrol. And I made it through the first test, which was the one where the psychological exams. The physical, that was easy. And I was getting ready to go to one of the academies. I don't remember if it was Border Patrol or CHP. But I applied for both. I called my dad. I was all excited. I said, Dad, we're becoming a police officer. And he said to me, he goes, why would you want to do that? I don't know, I thought you'd be happy. And he goes, no, I don't want you to have to do what I've done. He's like, I did what I did because I had to. Like, do you really want to be a cop? I never really thought about it. What the hell else is a Marine going to do when he gets out? So he told me, think about what you want to do and find your own path. Don't do something because you think I want you to. So after thinking about it, I decided I didn't want to be a cop. Now that doesn't mean what I did was any better. I'd hardly say I found my dream working construction. But I don't know. It was something to think about. I can say this. At the very least, I definitely did it my way. I don't know if that's good or bad. Anyway. Yeah, I think my dad would, they had like a real estate thing going on the side, and I don't know if this is successful. Guys, it is way late. I'm going to do, before I get offline here, I'll show you guys, I did some custom doodling on my drum set. I don't know. I just wanted to show you guys that. Well, that's nothing. Anywho's. Alright, guys. Which way looking this way? Yeah, I do look pretty raggedy. Well, it's hot as hell in this garage. I'm dehydrated. It's 11:30 at night. I haven't eaten. And I probably should go to bed because I got to work tomorrow. So, I love you guys. Thanks for tonight. I really appreciate it. I was super nervous about doing this stream. I haven't done a real one in a while. And I don't know why, but I was just nervous as hell about it. And you guys made it awesome. Y'all, I'll hit you up on Signal. Probably in the morning, because I'm going to go to bed. But we'll talk about setting up that Discord server. Anyway, good night, guys. Love y'all. See you on the battlefield.